What's going on, everybody? So today I decided I wanted to give my 2 cents on all of the F.E.A.R 3 multiplayer modes. Since, in case some people don't know, F.E.A.R 3 doesn't have the traditional shooter multiplayer, with like Team Deathmatch or Slayer or Capture the Flag. It has actually an all co-op based mode. And I think that's really cool, actually. It might be a turn-off to some people, and I do kind of miss that, but this is really good and inventive, and I like it a lot. It's not traditional, and it works. So today we're looking at Contractions, which is like a survival mode kind of thing. The best way I can describe it to someone who hasn't played it, it's like Nazi zombies from Call of Duty meets Horde from Gears of War. That's what it really feels like. At least like the round base with like things changing and the weapons from Horde, and then kind of like Nazi zombies from Call of Duty in the sense that you're kind of like in a building. It's kind of like dark and spooky, but you're working as a four-man team. I don't know. It's very in between the two, is what I really get the feel for. But basically, it's a fast-paced, round-set survival mode, and I really, really like it. It's easily my favorite mode. It's kind of like playing Nazi Zombies again. Like the first time I played Nazi Zombies or Horde or any of those like survival modes, I was like, oh man, I love this, and I just can't stop playing it. It's something you can play alone. It's something you can play with your friends. It's good both ways, and I really like it. I don't know how it works if you didn't get F.E.A.R 3 when it came out with like the code thing to get the other maps, like. Because without those maps, this game would be bad for multiplayer. But with these maps, it's good. I hope if they make a downloadable content thing, there'd be a lot of maps, or it would be free. I know that's kind of bizarre to ask nowadays, but it barely skims enough maps for the game types. Which there are 3 game types, but for this video, I'm going to be concentrating on Contractions, but I will make one for each type of the games because I like them all, and I just want to get my say into them. So yeah, there are 3 maps for the Contractions. And the idea behind it is like if you didn't play F.E.A.R 3, Alma's pregnant and she's having contractions, and this opens up rifts to inner dimensions, and it makes people go crazy. So it's a really good concept that ties in with the game, and I like that, how the game story can tie in with a multiplayer thing even though it doesn't need to. And as you can see here, I'm playing a game online with 4 people. Right there, what you just saw was Alma. Other than the traditional enemies that like come through and stuff, Alma is constantly wandering around the map. Basically, I think it describes in the beginning of the map, to look at Alma is to pay a price. Like, she'll do, I think, one of 3 things to you. She will either blind you, she will slow you down, like, so you're not even moving, like as if you're moving in slow motion, but no one else is, like, that kind of thing. Or, she will teleport you to a random spot in the map, which in my opinion is the worst thing that could happen, because, as you can see, we're kind of held up inside, and we're already pretty swamped here, even with 4 guys. I don't know what round we're on here. They're pretty fast rounds, but they do get increasingly harder and then a little bit longer as it gets harder. More enemies and stuff, but it's a really good system. It's really, really good. But yeah, if she teleports you outside in the open, you're kind of screwed unless you've got a good team that can come out there and defend you. So basically, note to self, avoid Alma. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you'll be walking down a corridor, and you'll turn around and she'll be behind you, and you're like, But just don't shoot at her. Try not to look at her, and you'll be fine. Other than that, there are kind of like 3 types of enemies, as far as I could tell. There's what I call splicers, because they remind me of splicers from BioShock. Basically, guys with unarmed, they sometimes have hammers and stuff, but they'll just run at you like melee attackers, pretty much, just like kamikazes. Then there are the armor hand tech, like army guys. They have a variety of weapons that can be. It's usually SMGs, shotguns, or tough up close. Some of them have assault rifles later on, and even later rounds they'll have things like rocket launchers, and they'll actually bring in guys who have like laser beams and stuff. Or I don't know what the official name for those weapons are, but it's basically like a electric shooter or a laser shooter gun. It was in F.E.A.R 2 also, just in a different form. And the last thing is what I call Hell Dogs. They probably have a real name. Excuse me if I don't have the exact term down, but this game hasn't been out that long, and I haven't had that much time to practice up on all my terms. But the Hell Dogs are easily the most. There's Alma again. Oh God, what am I doing? No! See, and just like that, she teleported me actually completely on the other side of the map. So that can be pretty bad sometimes. But there are Hell Dogs, and basically you need to stick together when there are Hell Dogs because they're fast and they can do a lot of damage, and it's almost impossible to run away from them. Now, what you're seeing me do here is pick up supply crates. The gimmick of Contractions, as opposed to other modes, is you have to go out of the base. Yes, there actually is a reason to leave the base. Go out of the base and collect them and put them in these, in this map in particular there are 3 floors, so there are 3 places. You drop them off here and you get weapons. The yellow supply crates seem to add to the stock of like SMGs, dual wield shotguns, your traditional stuff. And the red supply crates, which are a little bit more rare, seem to add to things like riot shields, rocket launchers, sniper rifles to get those kind of good weapons. But really, as long as you kind of stockpile everything in one or two places, and this map in particular, I recommend the middle floor. With these guys right here was probably the best game I've had so far, with just a combination of guys working together, teamwork guys, teamwork anyone who doesn't, tries to go solo in games like this, and common sense. Like, we were all stocking up things on the second floor. We were kind of watching each other's backs. Here you can see we got a round with a lot of soldiers who, actually, when they come together, they can swamp you pretty bad, and you got to stick as a team. Plus, you can run out of ammo pretty fast, so it's good to keep stocked up. You don't want to just get one supply crate. You usually want to send at least 2 to 3 guys out to get as many supply crates as possible. And if you don't want to get supply crates, you can board up. There are doors that are... I kind of have a small complaint, that you can only board up these doors in between rounds, but it also doesn't take... It might be too easy, you know what I mean? Like if I could just board things up like during a round. But like where I'm standing at right now, that window can be boarded up, and there are quite a few places you can board up things on this map. And you can tell they can be boarded up when it's in between rounds because they'll flash white. And it doesn't take long to build up stuff. And it's not like Nazi Zombies where it like takes a while to build up but you get points. It's not really a point system here exactly. I mean, you are scoring points, but it doesn't work like that. But yeah, the windows don't take long to build up. And for the most part, it's usually something we don't do. In general, it's... God, Alma. I love that they added her in, because you gotta not forget that this is a horror game. This isn't just like some first-person shooter like Call of Duty or some action shooter like Gears. It's a horror shooter, so I'm really glad they have something like that. Something you can't kill, like you have to avoid. It can't directly do damage to you, but trust me, when you're getting swarmed by 3 guys and all of a sudden your screen goes red and you can't see anything and all you can hear is you getting pummeled, it's not a great thing. Neither is it a good feeling when you're out in, like the top with your team and then you get teleported out into the middle of the field. Also not fun. But yeah, I really think it's a good system of, round starts, get supplies, board stuff up, grab some weapons, kick some ass, and repeat. It's a good system. It's more fast-paced, but it's really good, and I like it. And to my knowledge, there's no end to it. It just keeps going on, and it does. I think after this video, I've made it as far as like round 15. Maybe I don't think it's even that far, but it did get pretty intense. It got pretty hard. We had some heavy stuff going down, and you really got to work as a team. Like I said, you can play this solo, but it's obviously better. The whole game is based around co-op, but you can play it solo. So basically, there are 2 things I don't really like that I could think of, but these are sort of insignificant things that do not ruin the game whatsoever, but I thought I'd just get them out there. When you are actually going to pick up supply crates, actually here's another thing, there's a little bit of in-game lag where if you revive someone, the revive system works good, but sometimes there's a delay after you've filled up their bar and they won't get up right away and you'll be stuck, just still taking hits. There's this slight in-game lag. It also goes to the other thing I was going to say, where if you pick up a crate, it sometimes takes a while to actually get the crate in your hands. It just takes too long, in my opinion. And this little bit of in-game lag when everything else around you is going at normal speed it's not good, you know what I mean? It really can screw you up sometimes. But also, the only other small thing I could really think of was when you have a supply crate, you can still melee with it and actually does a significant amount of damage and stuns the enemy if you melee one, but you cannot drop a supply crate until you get it all the way to the place to drop it off. And I find this a problem. I think I should be able to drop supply crates. Maybe they didn't want people, like, getting a couple dropping into another guy and, like, stockpiling it up and getting a bunch at once, but I just think they should have put, like, a limit on how many can spawn at one time or something like that, because the fact that you can't drop it has screwed me over once or twice. It's not a game-breaking, but it's something I would have tweaked. But other than those 2 things, honestly, I only have positive things to say about it. This is addicting. I really like the system it works, and I really like the co-op base to it. It's very good team-wise. And I like how the rounds start from pretty easy. I mean, if you're being an idiot and running outside with a pistol and not getting anything, you're going to die. I mean, you're going to die. But if you work together, if you use common sense, the rounds get better and better and can meet your level. Like, rounds like 4 through 5 aren't too difficult, and then maybe like, oh, this is easy, and then suddenly you get to round like 16, you're like, oh my god, I cannot keep up with this, even if you have a team of like 4 guys who are communicating and working together. But yeah, I really dig the system. Also, if you go down, there's no like bleed out time, you won't die. And not only can you shoot when you're down, but you can crawl too, so... And crawl significantly fast, not like ridiculous, but you can crawl, and it just emphasizes the team base. Like I know in Call of Duty, Nazi Zombies, you'll actually bleed out and die, and that's kind of a bummer. It's like, oh man, now I'm dead. Like, that's not cool. In this, you won't die, but I mean, you can go down. It's also kind of like Gears, but you also won't bleed out, but you can also shoot. why I kind of consider these two a combination, like Call of Duty, you can shoot but can't move, and Gears, you can move but can't shoot. That's just my connection. Oh god, that guy got Alma. See, sometimes Alma can also instantly down you. And right here, I was like, oh god, when it's up to you, it's pressure, and like these are exactly what I was talking about here. Those Hell Dogs, and that ends the match for us. It can be over in a blink, or it can last forever. It's crazy. But as a side note, also if you pre-order the game, you get Fettel's pistol, which is slower than the regular pistol when you're down, but does a lot more damage. I've found it to kill people in 1 to 2 hits when I'm down. So that's all I have to say on Contractions. It's easily my most favorite multiplayer mode and like non-campaign mode in this game, and I look forward to putting up more Contractions. So yeah, feel free to let me know what you thought, and if you like this, let me know. And until next time, I'll catch you later.